about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good.
Let's bring him on up here, ladies and
I don't know
gentlemen.
about you, but I feel good.
David is a #1 best-selling author, trainer, and coach. He has been in customer service and customer success for over 30 years, and he has trained over 2 million businesses and individuals from around the world through his keynote speeches, online courses, and coaching programs. He's a former Tony Robbins business coach and seminar leader. Some of his clients include Google, LinkedIn, Harley-Davidson, and a slew of others. He lives in San Diego with his wife, Luna, and 2 young children, Angelo and Sophia. When David isn't working or with family, you can find him on a motorcycle somewhere or skiing down a mountain. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and put your hands together for David Brownlee!
I'm drinking out the bottle, swinging with supermodels. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I don't know about you, but I feel good. I'm 1 + 1, I'm too strong.
I feel good. I'm a morning person, can you tell? Yeah. I feel good because I'm here with you guys today. I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for having me. Man, I was listening to Roger and Alan. That doesn't sound like a customer service issue to me. That's a criminal issue. I don't have to get guns to work, but goodness Lord. Wow. But I know Roger's going to put his pylons in a different place now, so we'll all be safe. So good to see you guys. You've been through so much these last 3 years, and each and every one of you, with your expertise and leadership, have really thrived over these last few years. The numbers don't lie. You guys have done it. So I want you guys to give yourselves a round of applause for a time like this, to be together. Man, I'm getting too old for this. I'm all out of breath. Yeah, like Randy was saying, this is my family here. That's my wife, Luna. That's my daughter, Sophia. She's 7 now. Picture a little older. And my son, Angelo, he's 9. And we live in San Diego. And when you don't see me with them, you might see me on a motorcycle. Any motorcycle riders in the room? Oh, yeah. All right. So you know what I'm saying. So that's my other love right there. And today we're going to be talking about the 3 secrets to deliver a world-class experience. And I like to call it Rockstar Customer Service. Rockstar Customer Service. What is Rockstar Customer Service? Well, let me ask you guys a question. How many of you want to be more successful this year than even last year? Say I. Yeah. How many of you want to create more opportunities for you and your team? Say I. Yes. It starts with one thing. It starts with your customers. Your customers. Your customers bring in revenue, right? So that we all have a job. Your customers, you know, even the difficult ones, right? They create those opportunities for promotions, right? So that we can pay our bills, so that we can do what we need to do. And when we talk about customers, if we can make them feel a certain way, then they will keep coming back over and over and over, and they'll tell their friends and their family that they've got to come see you. Now, you may be asking yourself, like, well, who's this David Brownlee guy anyway? Well, let me tell you, I'm very driven to be here with you guys. This is my passion that I get to do every day, and I'm excited about that. And I want you guys to think about, what is it that drives you? What is your passion? I'm going to tell you my story. My life changed February 15th, 2008. My wife and I moved down to Central America, a place called Nicaragua. Anybody know Nicaragua? Central America. We moved to a little town called San Juan del Sur. It's a little tourist town where You get the cruise ships come in, and it's everything you can imagine, right? The palm trees, the white sand beaches. It just smells like you're in somewhere tropical, right? It's a wonderful place. And the people, the most generous, nice, authentic people that you can meet. So we loved it, and it was great. And one night, one of my clients, he's a developer, real estate developer down there, he said, hey, guess what? There's sushi in Managua. I was like, sushi? There weren't a lot of sushi restaurants back then. That was one of the things I was really excited about. He said, well, it's in Managua. It's about a 2.5-hour drive. So I told my wife, I said, Luna, let's go ahead and rent a hotel. We'll make a weekend of it. We'll go eat sushi. She said, sushi? And I said, yeah, there's sushi in Managua. So we go out there, and we go to the sushi restaurant. And I said, you know what? Let's take a cab because, maybe I'll have some sake with that sushi, right? So we go out there, and it's a wonderful meal. Getting ready to leave. We're about 10 minutes from the hotel. And I said, oh, baby, look, there's a cab outside dropping some people off. Let's go jump in the cab, and we'll go back to the hotel. I said, okay. So we go out there, jump into the hotel. Guy greets us, and we start driving back. And all of a sudden, the guy says, he turns around, and he says, tengo que urinar. And Spanish isn't my first language, but I was like, did he just say he has to take a piss? And I said, okay, man, do what you got to do, but just, go outside, So he pulls the car over, goes into a field. I guess he's urinar, and then he comes back, and he gets in, we start driving, and we got the windows down, and he's playing Eye of the Tiger. You guys know that song? Eye of the Tiger from Rocky 2 or 3 or 20, right? So we're driving along, and all of a sudden he pulls over again. Now this time somebody gets into the front seat of the car, which is a little weird, but they have something in Nicaragua, it's called the cooperativo, right? It's like an Uber ride share, if you can imagine that, right? So you're sharing the ride. So he gets in, very polite, start driving. Then he pulls over again, and this time somebody gets in the back seat. So if you can imagine this, the cab driver's in the front, this first guy's next to him, I'm behind the cab driver, my wife's in the middle, and now there's another guy here. And if you ever had that sinking feeling that something's wrong, that was the moment. And all of a sudden, the guy in the front seat in the passenger car, he turned around, pulled out a gun and said, La plata, la plata, la plata. With a handgun to my face. So I grabbed the gun because I knew he couldn't shoot me if I held it this way. But what I didn't realize, the guy next to my wife was his partner. He pulls out a knife and comes at me with the knife, and he misses me, and he catches me right here. Then he draws back again and shoves it straight into my thigh. He pulls it out, and blood squirting everywhere. And I knew in this moment that I had to change what was happening. And I didn't have any weapons. So I had to remember and rely on everything I've ever learned about people, communication. As crazy as it sounds, even customer service in that moment. I had to become a leader with the skills that I'd learned over the years. Now, a lot of people might say that, hey, David, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to you. But when I look at this situation, I look at it as a gift that has gifted me to be here with you. Because from that moment, people say, when you're looking at a near-death experience, your life flashes before your eyes. For me, it was more of a question. Did I live life fully? Did I get a chance to make a difference? Did I love the way that I want to love? And I didn't like the answers to those questions. And so when we came back, and my wife's fine, I made it through, but I decided to dedicate my life to helping others. And that brought me here with you today and unleashed a passion that I don't know that I would have ever found had it not been for that day. And then I met this guy, Tony Robbins. Anybody familiar with Tony Robbins? Yes. And I worked for Tony for a number of years as a business coach and a seminar leader. And Tony taught me the different ways to how you get people from where they are to where they want to be, in business or in life. And during that time with Tony, I was doing coaching, and I did over 5,000 one-on-one coaching calls with people just like you. There's not a whole lot I haven't seen out there, but by getting this rhythm, I got to understand people even better and what we all crave, because it's all the same. And when you decide to put something positive into the world, you have that control. You have that control to put something positive into the world. And that's what I wanted to do. And that's why I wrote this book, which took me a very long time. If anybody's ever written a book, I like to move, and I had to sit and write, But it was fun. It's called Rockstar Service, Rockstar Profits. I share my story, lots of stories in there, but also the 8 secrets that I've found over the years that help you connect with people. Okay? I think I did that. Okay. So let me ask you, what drives you to show up every day and be the best that you can be? And so I like to think about this idea of rock stars. Let me ask you a question. Who's your favorite rock star? Or maybe your favorite athlete, your favorite celebrity? Think about that person for a second. Who is that? Okay? Now imagine you're back in your restaurant, just a normal shift, one afternoon, right? You're back there, and what do you hear? What do you feel? What do you smell, right? Ooh, those French fries are delicious. Oh, just the smell of the French fries makes me smile, right? Now, all of a sudden you look at the door, and your favorite celebrity is walking into your restaurant. Wow, how does that make you feel? Make the sound that you make when your favorite celebrity comes into the restaurant. Whoa! Wow! Right? What would you say to them after you picked your jaw up off the floor? Like, I can't believe. Who's your favorite? She's still thinking. Oregon, anybody, who's your favorite? Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan just walked into your restaurant. If Michael has a problem, what would you do to solve it? Whatever it takes, right? You might even move a pole in the drive-thru for Michael Jordan. I'm just saying. I mean, it's Michael Jordan. So the question is, when was the last time you treated a customer like Michael Jordan? When was the last time you treated your favorite celebrity like somebody who just came into your door? Treated them like a rock star? Now, what would be possible if you treated every customer like your favorite celebrity? What would be possible for your restaurant? Right? Because when you treat somebody like a rock star, they feel pretty good, don't they? Then they go back to their office and they treat their staff a little better, right? And then they're like, oh my gosh. And then they go home and maybe they treat their spouse a little better. Then their spouse feels good, and then they go and treat their kids a little better. I call this the customer service ripple effect. Because you have the power. Everybody on your team has that power. Because sometimes you feel a little powerless with that, don't you? Like, it doesn't matter how nice I am or friendly to somebody, I can still get a customer that's upset. Well, that's true. But what is also true is that you do have the power to make that difference. Because we don't know what anybody's been through in their life, do we? Right? Or in that day they come into your restaurant. Right? Somebody could be going through something, emotional, like a divorce or financial issues, health issues. And maybe they walk into your restaurant because they remember when they were a kid. Like when you were a kid, you remember when you were a kid, the first time you went to a McDonald's, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, this is the happiest place on earth. I even got the socks to prove it. Can we get a shot of those socks? has happiness on my feet. And what ends up happening is now they've got this thing in their mind. They're imagining, oh, I'm going to go to McDonald's, and maybe I could take a break for some moments. And you have the power to influence that moment. So I love this quote by Maya Angelou. She said, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Isn't that true? My goal for all of you sitting here and being here in front of you is, this is not about me, this is about you. I want each and every one of you to feel proud for what you're doing, what you're going to do, and what you've accomplished. I want you guys to feel good. And secret number one of the 3 secrets is to master the CS psychology. And what that stands for is the customer service psychology. All right. Your customers only want 3 things from you. David, are you serious? Have you been in one of our restaurants? They want 1,000,000 things from us. 3 things. Man, you better check that slide. 3 things. And I'll prove it to you. Don't take my word for it. The first thing is your customers want to feel heard. Isn't that true? Your customers are like, are you listening to me? Right? And some of these things you may have heard before, but I want you to ask yourself, how well are we doing this? Is there room for improvement? Could we do even better? And if we did do better, what would happen? What would be that result? So it heard, right? I'm a parent. Any parents in the room? Oh, wow, look at all the parents. Look around the room. Look at all the parents, right? When your child has an issue, what do they want? They want you to feel heard, right? They want to feel heard. It's like daddy, 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 daddy. Yes? Nothing. Huh? They want to be heard. Your customers are the same way. And next, number 2, they want to be understood. Have you ever had an issue, with something, with a product or a service, and you're like, okay, this thing happened, and they're like, phone number. But did you hear anything I just said? Right? You want to be understood. And your customers want the same thing. Do you understand the problem? Do you understand what they're doing? Do you understand what went wrong? Right? So number 1, they want to be heard. Number 2, they want to be understood. And number 3, they want to be cared for. Do you even care? Right? When somebody tells you about an issue that they had and you're just like, okay, when are you done with this thing? I got things to do. Right? Take a moment and focus and show them that you care. And I will tell you, if you make somebody feel these 3 things, 80% of whatever those issues will go away. Make them feel this way. Right? We don't like to talk about feelings too much these days, do we? But could our world use a little more respect and positivity? Yes. And again, sometimes we feel powerless, but I want to encourage you to know that, hey, you guys can make a difference. Your team can make a difference. So David, okay, that's all great, but how do I motivate my team? How do I go back and motivate my team? Right? Because mission-driven workers are 54% more likely to grow into high performers. And 54% of those workers as well will stay with you for 5 years or more. It's our job as leaders to create that motivation and that inspiration for our team members. Because that's what drives them to go ahead and deliver that Rockstar customer service. So, maybe let's see here. Okay, there we go. So the first thing is your mission and values, right? So your mission, our mission, is to make delicious, feel-good moments easy for everyone. Isn't that cool? That's bigger than you, that's bigger than me, that's bigger than McDonald's, right? This is something cool. Our mission is to make delicious, feel-good moments and make them easy. For who? For everyone. What a noble cause. And a lot of times, missions, they'll sit on a website somewhere, right? But use this with your team to motivate and make them feel inspired. And next is the values. I love these values. Serve. We put our customers and people first. Community. We're good neighbors. Family. We get better together. Right? Inclusion. We open our doors to everyone. And of course, integrity. We do the right thing. And it's so funny because Gandhi is such a great figure. And when I found that he was talking about customers, I said, I just have to share this. A customer is the most important visitor on our premises. He is not dependent on us. We are dependent on him. He is not an interruption in our work. He is the purpose of it. He is not an outsider in our business. He's part of it. And we're not doing him a favor by serving him. He's doing us a favor by giving us an opportunity to do so. And of course, he or she, or anybody. How important is that? So if you say, David, well, we want them to feel heard, we want them to feel understood, we want them to feel cared for, but how do I do that? I've got pressure, I've got things coming down, I got drive-through going, I've got digital delivery happening. How do I do it? Well, what if there was a way to deliver excellent customer service, build rapport in less than 30 seconds, no matter what's going on in your restaurant? Would that be cool? Yeah, all right, let's take a look. Always take a sec. SEC, this is an acronym I came up for my clients because it only takes a sec to do. No drums, the drummers left already, so. Takes a sec to do. The first thing is smile. Smile, everybody smile. Smile, real big. Look at your neighbor and just smile at him. Put a big smile, show some teeth. If you brushed them, just smile. Okay, good. Now keep smiling. And I challenge you to get upset while you're smiling. So you gotta smile. Gotta smile bigger. Come on, now get upset. I didn't say laugh, no, come on. Get upset when you smile. Can you do it? You can't do it. You're sending a message to your brain that you're happy, even if you're not happy, right? How many of you feel a little happier now than you did even 20 seconds ago? Just from smiling. Yeah, right? So that's the first thing. And David, we know we're supposed to smile. But again, ask yourself, how often are you doing it? How often are your team members greeting every single person with a smile? That's the foundation for everything, right? It sets up the whole transaction, whether it's 30 seconds, right? 3 minutes, 30 minutes with some people. Depends on which poll you hit. Right? So the first thing is a smile. You set it up with a smile. Number 2 is eye contact. Eye contact. Have you ever been talking to somebody and, they're making eye contact and then they just kind of, and they're just gone. It's like, I'm right here. Come back. Eye contact. Eye contact shows that person's important. That, hey, I'm ready to serve you. Let's go. Let's do this transaction. Smile, eye contact. And number 3 is comment or compliment. How many of us like compliments? Yeah. Compliments are pretty good, right? So last week before I came here, I went to a restaurant. And, we were going before an event. And so we were on a little bit of a time crunch to get to this event. But I had a reservation. And everybody knows if you have a reservation, you're good to go, right? Table's gonna be ready, you're gonna be all set, ready to go. So we get there, there's a lot of people, the place is packed. But I had a reservation. So I go up and I say, yes, I'm David Brownlee, I've got a reservation. Oh, Mr. Brownlee, we are very busy. I can see that. But luckily, I have a reservation. I can see that you have a reservation, but it's going to be a little while for your table. I'm like, but doesn't the reservation keep the table? Oh, yes, we got a table for you. It's just not ready yet. But why don't you and your family go on over to the bar? We'll buy you guys a drink and just relax over there for a little bit. I said, okay, well, I mean, that's cool, but I had a reservation. So we go over there and, we're sitting at the bar and the bartender's very engaging and we're having a conversation and we're talking, everything's great. And then he says, hey, you know what? I really like those shoes. I said, these shoes? He's like, yeah, man, those are cool shoes. I said, well, thank you very much. And then a totally separate guy, maybe like 5-6 minutes later, comes over and is like, hey, man, I really like that jacket. I was like, this jacket? Thank you very much. And then finally, when our table was ready, I was like, yes, it is. I had a reservation. Walk a little taller, right? It didn't cost them any more money to do that, did it? No, they got a fat tip, too, because I was feeling, I'm a baller, so I guess I got to pay up. Didn't take any more time to do, right? Because we were there. So it only takes a sec to do. Smile, eye contact, comment, and compliment. Okay, so that's pretty good, but there's different layers and different levels to this, David. Especially when we're going. So one of my favorite speakers is a guy named Stephen Covey. Does anybody remember Stephen Covey? He's so good. God rest his soul. He's very, very talented. And he used to tell this story, and I've never told this story from stage, but I think it's so appropriate. One Sunday morning, he was in New York. He jumps on a subway, and they go to this subway stop, and this guy comes on with his kids. They get in there, and he just immediately sits down, closes his eyes, checks out. And his kids are running around the subway, grabbing newspapers from people, making noise, running around. And Stephen's watching this, and he's getting annoyed, like anybody would, right? So he taps the guy on the shoulder and says, hey, you know what? Your kids are running around. They're disturbing people. They're making noise. And then he looked up as if it was the first time he'd noticed what was going on. He said, oh my gosh, I guess you're right. We just came from the hospital, and my wife, their mother, just passed away an hour ago. And I don't know really how to take it, and I guess they don't know how to take it either. And in that moment, Stephen Covey said, any kind of anger, any kind of irritation is out the window. Suddenly, he said to him, oh my gosh, can you tell me about it? What can I do to help? When we put ourselves in other people's shoes, whether we know it or not, can that change our perspective? Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially when we don't want to serve that person who's just rude and they're just impatient and everything. Maybe we step back. Maybe we step back and try to understand what's happening. What could be happening, even if you don't have the conversation. And so secret number 3 is use the 3 keys to empathy. Empathy. Empathy's gotten a bad rap over the past few years, right? So soft and empathetic. Oh, what's empathy? What empathy really is simple. Putting yourself in somebody else's shoes. You don't have to agree with that person. You don't even have to like the person. You just have to go to their perspective so that you understand what's happening. Does that make sense? So the first thing is put yourself in someone else's shoes. The second thing is share a similar experience you or another customer had in the situation. Has anybody ever tried that? It's pretty cool because not only do they feel like, hey, I'm not the only one who's ever had, this problem, the wrong item in their bag, right? But it also gives you an opportunity to solve it. Hey, I'm going to solve this thing for you, right? And I'm going to add some extra fries for you. Okay, whatever that is. So share a similar experience. And then there's something I call WAP. What is that? Man, David Brownlee and his acronyms. Well, this one stands for the window of perception. You guys want to do a little thing with me real quick? Okay, here we go. All right. So I want you guys to imagine, we're gonna split the room into two. Everybody on this side, you're outside. Where are you? Outside. You're outside. Okay, now this side of the room, you guys are inside. I knew you were rock stars. Inside and outside. And right down the middle here is a window. And we're sitting in just a regular suburban house, right? You guys are inside, and you guys are outside. So let's go to inside. Inside, how you feeling? Yeah, all right. You guys are in the house. You guys are in a living room, and there's a window, and you're looking outside, okay? Now, tell me some of the things that you guys see outside, other than a bunch of people looking at you going, what are they looking at me for? What kinds of things do you see outside? Just yell them out. Snow, sunny, trees, the street, sidewalk, mailbox, right? You see all those things outside. Outside, how you guys feeling? Yeah. Whoa. They must be watching Netflix or something because you guys are out here running marathons or something. All right, so you guys are outside. It's the same window, the same house, the same instance in time. What do you see when you look inside? Nothing. Pretty sure there's about 750 people over there. What kinds of things do you see outside? Quickly, just yell them out. Inside, a couch, a TV, a lamp, food. Yes. Family, right? Inside. Now, let me ask you a question. Are these two totally different things? Completely different things. The same window, the same house, the same moment in time, and there's two totally different things that you see. So imagine an issue, whatever that issue is. The customer might be inside looking out. They see something there. They're trying to explain to you. They want to feel heard, understood, cared for. They're trying to explain to you. But you're on the other side of the window. You're outside looking in, and you're like, I see something totally different. Who's right? Both right. So just take a moment and come over and stand with the customer for a second. Oh, the customer's on this side. Sorry. Stand with the customer for a second and see what they see. And then you can come right back to your side. But if you want to find the best solution for your customers, sometimes we got to just jump like that for a second. And then we can come back. All right, but David, how do you do all of this with upset customers? I mean, they don't want to hear about windows of perception. They don't really even want me to smile at them right now. Have you ever done it? He's just smiling, that's dangerous, right? Someone just slap that smile right off your face. I've got 3 ninja secrets to deal with upset customers and turn them around. You guys want to know the ninja secrets? No, not really. We can skip them. I've got time. I'm in Vegas. You guys want the 3 ninja secrets? That was my rock stars. Okay, I even put a ninja in there. The first ninja secret, wait for it, let them vent. Let the customer vent. Have you guys ever had an upset customer? And the upset customers are like yelling at you. They're like, Alan, I've been coming here for years, And I'm never out to problems and then the issues that I'm having right now. Oh, man. I'm going to tell you, where's your manager? I am the manager. You're not the manager. Where's the manager? And I just, I wanted fries. But I don't know, maybe it's not your fault. I mean, been under a lot of pressure. My canary died. And so, maybe it's not your fault. But, you got fries, right? Like it. Maybe you can get me some and then everything will be okay. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Right away. Right? Has that ever happened to you? You just sit there, you just shake your head. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. That's right. Yes. Oh, yes. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. You get the head bob going. Absolutely, sir. Yes. You want French fries. We got fries. And they just kind of run out of steam and they're like, all right. Let's just wait for those fries then. That's step one. But what happens like that one time, maybe not anybody in this room, but you might see somebody in there and they go, yeah, but you start throwing yeah buts in there. They're like, oh, and another thing, right? And it keeps going. This is the toughest part. We have to remain silent, right? And just let them get it out. Everybody runs out of steam. It doesn't seem like everybody's going to run out of steam, but everybody runs out of steam at some point, right? So that's number one, is let them vent. You guys ready for ninja secret number two? Ah, right. Number two, apologize to the customer. Even if it's not your fault. Even if the pylon is 4 feet into the ground, nowhere near the menu, I'm very sorry. It fell on your car? Those pylons are getting quicker and quicker every year. They got a mind of their own. That's the hardest one, right? To apologize. You're like, oh, I don't really want to apologize. Let them vent and then apologize. Because when you apologize, there's not a lot of other places to go, right? With everybody. And that doesn't work with everybody, right? But 9 times out of 10, there's not a lot of places to go. I apologize, right? Reassure them that, hey, you're going to do whatever it takes to take care of them. It might not be exactly what they want, right? But you're going to give Rockstar customer service. You're going to do everything that you can to take care of them. Okay? Make sense, guys? You with me on a Wednesday? Is it Wednesday? I have no idea. Okay, on a Wednesday. Got lucky. All right, number 3, give them an unexpected item of value. Unexpected item of value. And that's open for interpretation, right? But when somebody's really upset, you let them vent, you apologize, you let them know that, hey, I'm going to do everything I can to take care of you. And then you give them an unexpected item, right? Like that story I was telling you where they said, hey, we'll buy you a drink. I wasn't expecting that. But it kind of brought me down a little bit, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. It could be a coupon. It could be the French fries. Oh, I love the French fries. Right? It could be anything, any kind of item of value. And those 3 things will work 9 times out of 10. Very simple. Is this something you could go back and share with your team? Absolutely. Right? Sec, heard, understood, cared for, smile, eye contact, comment, compliment. And if somebody's upset, let them vent. Apologize. Give them an unexpected item of value. And could all this happen very quickly? Yes. Right? There's not a lot of time. Right? But these things can happen very quickly and they're effective. Now, what about when you have to tell somebody no? Right? Isn't that word just kind of, it's like a wall, right? Can I have some more? No! But I would just like, no! Right? And it's from when we were little kids. Right? I remember my son, he was like 3 years old, and I looked up for a second. I went to the kitchen to get something. I came back. He's on the dining room table with my laptop upside down, his baby bottle hanging out of his mouth. And he's just like this, walking, And I'm like, oh, Scott, laptop, his life, you know. I'm like, no. It starts from when we're little. All we hear is no. But what if you really can't accommodate somebody's request? What do you say? It's our policy. It's our procedure. No, it's against the rules. I do have a ninja secret. I do have a ninja phrase. If you're taking notes, you might want to write this one down. You might want to take a picture of this one. This phrase doesn't just work in your restaurants. It works with your spouse that might be sitting next to you. Works with your kids. Works with your family, your friends. You guys ready for this? Okay, yeah, we'll just skip. I don't have to share it. All right, okay. See, I like this. All right, here's the bonus. I wish I could. What I can do is, gosh, I really wish I could. What I can do is, it does a couple things. Number one, it shows that you care, right? Gosh, I really wish I could. You got to sell it, though, all right? God, I wish I could. But what I can do is, now you're changing the focus from what you can't do to what you can do, right? I can't give you a refund, but I can give you 20% off, right? I can't, give you a pony, but I can get some fries with that. Right? This is that magic phrase, and I challenge you guys to go back and have a game with your team, right? See, how many times can you avoid the word saying no, right? Avoid the word no. How often could you do it? It's fun. It's fun. Okay. But now we've talked about these customers and their rock stars. In my opinion, each and every one of you is a rock star. And you guys have been sitting there for so long. I don't like, I could stand behind a lectern. Thank you very much for having me. I'm going to be talking for the next 5 hours about customer service. It's going to be very exciting, wonderful, engaging. No! I don't even like pretending. All right, so you guys want to play with me just for a second? Okay, everybody stand up. DJ Randy, I'm going to need some music here. And we go up there. I believe that each and every one of you is a rock star. And I want to get 1,500 of us doing this little mantra right here together. You think we can do it together? All right, let's do it. I am a rock star. I have the power of positivity. You guys got to leave it up there. You got to leave it up there. I care for my customers. I serve with empathy. Louder, I am a rock star. I have the power of positivity. I care for my customers. I serve with empathy. Louder, I am a rock star. I have the power of positivity. I care for my customers. I serve with empathy. Turn to the person on your right, give my high five and say, you are a rock star. On the left, you are a rock star. You are all rock stars. All right, cut that music, Randy. Woo! Yeah. How many of you feel even just a little more excited than you did a minute ago? Yes, that's the feeling I'm talking about. Let's get that feeling with our teams. What would be possible in your restaurant with that feeling? Anything. anything. So I've got the gun. He can't shoot me if I have the gun. But now I'm bleeding. My wife's in a white dress. It's just turning red. She doesn't even know I've been stabbed. And I had to calm the situation. So we calmed down. I said, hey, espera. Wait. What do they want? La plata, the money. So we go to an ATM. We go out there. They get a few $100. They got my wedding ring. My wife took her ring off. And she sat on it. Yeah? Is that crazy? She sat on it so they didn't know that she had it. And if you back up about a year or 2 years before that, my wife is from Italy. And my dad was excited about going to Italy one day. And he was a teacher, and he said, there's a guy who's going to, put this trip together to go to Italy. Why don't we go to Italy together? I said, Dad, that's great. I can't wait to go to Italy with you, Pop. So we're out at dinner one night, and we're sitting there, and we're eating, and he got up, and I heard people scream behind me, and he had fallen. And it turned out that he had cancer. And I'd go to visit him in the hospital, and he'd say, David, I'm going to get better. We're going to go to Italy. I said, yeah, Dad, we're going to go. And he didn't make it. But a few months later, I met Luna, who happened to be from Italy, and I told her the story. She said, we have to go to Italy. We're going to go to Venice, and we're going to go to the Bridge of Sighs. And we're going to stand there, and we're going to have a moment of silence for your dad. I said, that's amazing. So we went to Venice. We're in one of the gondolas going through, and I said, Luna, will you marry me? She said, yes, thank God. I gave her the ring. Of course, it didn't fit. But she loved it. And we went out to celebrate, and we were having dinner along one of the canals, and there was a guy who was playing guitar out front. And I was listening to the song. It's called The Shadow of Your Smile. And that was my dad's favorite song. And so we walk over there, and I put some money in his thing, and I said, that's great. And I said, excuse me, sir. Do you know where the Bridge of Sighs is? And he said, you're standing on it. I said, this is amazing. And ever since that day, we knew that ring was our protector. And so when she sat on that ring was getting us through this horrific experience. And then we started driving, and we're driving into this neighborhood, back in the cab. And it's one of the nicest areas of Managua. It's like the Beverly Hills of Managua. Because look, he could have dropped us off at other parts of Managua, and the whole thing could have happened over again, or even worse. So we felt pretty good. And then as we're driving up, we see a dark road off to the right. And I remember thinking to myself, as long as we don't drive down that road, we might make it through. So we get up to the road. The taxi slows down, and he makes a right onto the road. And then we see just the lights start to dim behind us. And we're out in this field. And they told us to get out of the cab. We got out of the cab. They said, get on your knees. We got on our knees. They said, close your eyes. We closed our eyes. Listening for the next sound. And the next sound was the taxi cab driving away. We'd made it. And I told Luna, I said, oh my gosh, I think he got me. And she looked down for the first time and saw her dress completely red and started screaming. And I said, no, baby, I'm fine. Took off my shirt, tied a tourniquet. And you ever seen a really bad horror movie, like the B-movie type? Like with zombies and stuff, and the credits are rolling, and they're just walking like this back to the village. Right? That's what it looked like. And finally we get back, and we're at this mansion, and the security guard said, oh my God, called the ambulance. They came, picked me up, got some stitches, took me to the hospital. The embassy reached out. We told the embassy what happened. I don't know that they ever caught the guys. But I heard that they did catch a couple guys doing that, and the police shot them. And now if you go to Nicaragua and you go to Managua and you're in a taxi cab at night, they have to keep the light on. So there was some change there. Okay? But sometimes the most difficult things that happen in our lives that we go through end up being those things that carry us through to the good times. And one of the best times is being here with you today. Oh, I'm smiling. I'm smiling. Each and every one of you puts a smile on my face. And here's the book. This is the Audible version, is available if you guys go to Amazon. Okay? And you can share these ideas and some more ideas with your team. It's also available on paperback. And thank you guys very much for having me. Thank you for being the Rockstar.